Recap of the tickers we're planning on playing this week from a weekly standpoint. Let's go with the first ticker we have is Tesla. Tesla printed a bearish nirvana last week with the 1-3. Our trigger would be the 2 down for it to be a 3-2 reversal on the strat pattern, with our first PT being 846. Second PT no, the gap is not there. Second PT 828. However, Tesla is still in a weekly inside bar, so it didn't trigger. Some of us got in at the weekly rejection. However, Tesla is back at that weekly rejection, which I actually said that it would do on yesterday, that it can retrace back to this area. The next ticker that we want to watch rejection here. We want to make sure the play would be invalidated above this level here, and that would make a 2-up situation in PT here, but it has to get over this first. So the best safest entry is the trigger of the 2 down on the 1, 2, 3. So the next ticker that we have is AMAT. AMAT, we are actually playing the same situation as Tesla. However, AMAT did trigger its 2 down, and it did hit the first PT of 130, and the second PT would be 125. However, we are in the position, but we're going to watch it at this bounce area because this is a 50% of this candle. We just want to watch that level to see how it reacts, because we do have kind of like a little support resistance here. So we're going to watch that level, but ultimately the price target is 125, 123. We can scale out here and then reposition for next week for the continuation down on AMAT. However, semiconductors, I think, have earnings, and I think AMAT runs with them, if I'm not mistaken. However, AMAT is currently up pre-market going into the daily 50%. It didn't do it yesterday, so I'm expecting. All of this is expected. That's why I didn't want to take positions, but it's okay because we went in lightly. And the next ticker we have is Apple. We didn't get into this position, but I did like it. And Apple had the 3-2 reversal, and the target would be, the first PT would be here, which it actually hit. I didn't mark that. So let's mark it now. Oh, no, okay, that's not the target. Boom. So, oh, right here. Here, sorry. All right, first target would be there, which it ended up hitting that target. And then the next target is here. However, Apple is retracing up to the weekly rejection area, which that's where I wanted to position for the 2 down continuation. I wanted this candle to be retested, so that's why I didn't decide. So Apple is still on the radar for today. The next ticker that we have is UPS. UPS did end up triggering the 2 down. So the position the strat that I was playing was the 2, 1, 2 down, with this being the first PT 207. UPS also has a large gap, but it tapped the gap and triggered the 2 down. So most likely it's gonna retest the 50% area. This is where we'll add to our position and then take it back down. The play invalidates over the inside bar of 230. So I think this position still look good. I have levels set for alerts. These yellow lines, y'all don't have to have those. Those are just quick lines. But the 50% retracement is what I'm looking for. And it is up pre-market at my alert that I wanted, the first one. So I either do the daily or the 50%. The next ticker that we are in is SBUX. SBUX is on the weekly. This chart looks crazy. I actually need to clean this completely up. All right. SBUX, the reason why we are playing this, we're going to play the 2-2 continuation down on the weekly, but that's not really why I entered SBUX. SBUX triggered a 2 down on the monthly. Let's go to the monthly on SBUX. It triggered the 3-2 down, which would make the first target 91 and then 87. So what we can do on SBUX is scale out our profits on a weekly and then get some February end of the month contracts to take this down to 87. That's what we could do on StarBUX. StarBUX is also up pre-market at 94. Daily 50% retracement is 94.93. I want to watch it at that level. If it rejects, then I'll add to my position to go down. And then also I'll build a February position as well. The end of the month position as well for StarBUX. The next ticker we are in is Lucid, and Lucid is just a sympathy play off of Tesla. All right, so Lucid could go either way. It did gap up above the weekly retrace of the weekly, but it came back up and tested it. It did not trigger the 2 down, so it still has, it can trigger the 2 up, and if it does, then we would just reverse our position or watch for a rejection, and it can come back down and make an outside bar on the weekly as well. So that is possible on Lucid. Lucid monthly is what made me want to enter it. So let's look at the Lucid on the monthly. Lucid monthly triggered a 2 down on it, with PT being 22.11. So I'm watching Lucid carefully to see how it plays out, because this is kind of different. But also, if Tesla whatever Tesla move is going to move, then Lucid is going to follow suit. But if it does trigger the 2 up, we will play calls and then watch for the rejection and possibly do the outside bar. But I don't know if it's going to do that. It's back at the same level, so we got to watch it here. Watch it back at that 618. It has to get over this to even consider doing that. So we'll see on Lucid. The next ticker I have on a list that hasn't triggered yet. Oh, we are in Facebook as well. Facebook, let me get Facebook up. I'm trying to make sure I got all the tickers we are in. Facebook weekly triggered a 2 down. So it's a 222 continuation on Facebook. I think I have Facebook charted somewhere else. Let's see. I have it charted here. Let's go. Okay, so Facebook ended up triggering the 2 down. Target would be here. And then we could put this one just for safe. And then ultimately the 207, 209 area. 209, 207. So that's what we're playing on Facebook. This candle right here is the weekly retracement for Facebook on a weekly. If it could tap that, then I'll add to the position to come down. Or if it taps, the other thing we can do, if it taps this 50% and starts to trend over it, we will cut our position. Well, we won't cut our position. What we do is let it bounce, come here. But if it go back to the 50% retracement and start to trend up, we'll watch for that outside bar on Facebook. Facebook monthly also is still in this long trend down from the earnings. So it hasn't completed its entire move. So we can also position Facebook on a February monthly. All right, the next ticker we did not get into is NVDA. NVDA had a shooter on a weekly, and I was looking for the rejection of that shooter, which is back at it perfectly. It did trigger the 2 down, the 2 reversal on a weekly. This is called a 2-2 bearish reversal. However, it didn't fully retest that 50% candle, and it's doing it right now. So this is a perfect stock to look at for rejection, to play it back down. And that's why I didn't get into it yesterday, because I knew some of these tickers had to retrace. But we get in just in case the move is going to happen. but we scaling lightly so that we have enough capital to add to our position. That's the shooter. And now here you can watch for most likely an outside bar. Well, not an outside bar because we're on a weekly. But this is the rejection area for shooter rejection, shooter retest actually. I'm going to put that as my alert. And then you can play this down. It does have earnings, so we got to watch it carefully. Maybe we shouldn't play that ticker this week. I'll see. The next ticker that we did not play but still keeping eyes on is Netflix. Netflix is in a 2-2 continuation. It is testing this candle. I want to see if it wants to test this shooter because it hasn't tested that shooter yet. See if Netflix wants to retest that shooter before entering. Other than that, if it doesn't make it above last week's candle and make the outside bar, I wouldn't worry about Netflix. It's just something to watch. Okay, so